There is a strong direct relationship between sound and yoga, with sound being understood as music or sounds in nature. With synergistic study, you, Melissa, use sounds indoors and outdoors.
Yes, I make use of sounds both when I am working indoors and when I am working outdoors. Generally, I choose sounds based on the type of class I am going to teach in order to encourage active listening, guiding people towards a deeper emotional understanding of the specific part we are focusing on. While in outdoor settings, I sometimes use sounds, otherwise I rely on the sounds of nature. The little birds, the wind, when I teach on the beach, the waves of the sea. It's very nice sometimes to mix sound with moments of listening to nature.
How do these sounds influence your yoga classes? In many years of experience, have you ever received feedback from your students?
Depending on the sound we decide to introduce, the lesson undergoes a complete transformation. To start with, yoga is a realm that is extremely challenging to explain because it consists of physical practice, breath awareness, concentration, inner values, and external behavior, simply put. Therefore, bringing all these aspects together in a lesson is a complex task, as each type of lesson must elicit that kind of response. It requires careful attention to detail and thorough planning to ensure that every element is adequately addressed and integrated into the teaching process, making it a multifaceted and intricate endeavor. Thus, the very same lesson that we carry out for a chakra can be put forward for an anatomical part, but it will be our intention to alter and transform the practice. On many occasions, along with the message I convey through speech, sound aids me in establishing a connection with the individual regarding the part we are currently working on, thereby imparting different emphases to the exact same lesson. So we have the option to do yoga while enjoying relaxing music. We can also choose to do it with rock or pop music, and we can work with a diverse range of sounds. There is no superior or inferior sound, as each sound possesses a unique vibration that influences our mood in different ways. And sometimes to stimulate, to reach deeper emotional parts, more intense music is needed. So if I focus on relaxation, I will utilize light music, correct, that engages the individual, that assists them in disconnecting from the mental aspect. But if I want to work on anger, fear, self-esteem, courage, I will need music a little louder or stronger at certain peaks of the lesson in order to directly reach that more sensitive part.
Music unquestionably aids with this. It is an essential and fundamental aspect.
Absolutely. Additionally, this is because all living things depend on sound. So in places without sound, there is no existence of life. Just consider someone who is a parent and when they listen to their child's heartbeat for the very first time. So wherever there is sound, there is life. And as a result, everything is sound. And sound has a profound influence on us at every single moment in time. And we must learn to harness it, and we must also understand the potential of sound because it has a very important value.
And we must also understand, distinguish between what is sound and noise, as we are always talking about vibrations, but sound is something that gives us well-being. Noise bothers us.
Sound is harmonious. Most of the time it brings us harmony. Noise, on the other hand, contracts us, bothers us, and even closes off channels, because if we were talking with a jackhammer underneath, it would disturb us. So it closes us off, precludes us, distances us.
In the automotive industry, it is a subject that is presently being extensively debated because the noise of motorcycles, the noise of cars, is not always described as I just did, because some discuss the engine noise, some discuss the sound.
The challenge in suggesting specific music during a lesson is precisely that what may appear appropriate on paper is not always interpreted in the same manner by the individual. For instance, let's assume I play my most loved song, and during that exact same song a couple ended their relationship. That girl will not handle it very well when I play that song. Let's say that flavors, smells, and sounds are the ones that directly reach our unconscious memories. So when a familiar note strikes us, it opens incredible unconscious doors. We don't know where we're heading for this very reason.
Listening to music during yoga is a genuinely fascinating aspect that is explored and carried out in the correct manner. I say this because most individuals listen to music, but in reality, many, while listening to music or hearing music, which are slightly different things, engage in other activities. I am not focused there. Perhaps they utilize it as background or for doing household chores or simply to pass the time, but not listening in a deep way. Instead, it is mindful listening that provides you with all of these advantages. Therefore, in a lesson where individuals are quiet and present to concentrate, unwind and rejuvenate, depending on what is being listened to, that is where the greatest benefit is obtained. Especially in the past, when listening to records, even just picking up the record, putting it on the turntable, etc., was a more conscious experience. Now, music is listened to differently on cell phones and streaming platforms, with numerous services providing access to all music, but in reality, few listen well. So for me, connecting these two things truly creates a tremendous benefit and advantage.
Yes, let's say that yoga brings you into the presence of the moment, into the present moment, focusing on what is happening to you physically, concentrating on the breath, and therefore everything around us is amplified. As we mentioned before, the sense, the sounds themselves, a sound heard in that circumstance is completely different from the same sound heard at another time, because we are present there. And that sound will help us maintain the fluidity of breath and bring awareness to what we are doing in the movement. So it is actually a very important combination. Sometimes you can also practice in silence, in complete silence, so music is not always necessary for every practice session. Let's say that when we utilize music, the music ought to be a tool that is specifically designed for the task at hand.
During this chat, you made me reflect on some aspects, and I was thinking that we could organize a lesson maybe in a room a bit different from the environments where you have already taught. Well, you have taught practically everywhere, like workshop environments, unique outdoor settings with beautiful views where there are sounds of nature. We could attempt a lesson, if you prefer, in an environment that is entirely silent, artificially silent but extremely quiet, which is our listening room, a semi-anechoic chamber. In the interior, if an individual truly stays quiet, they are able to perceive the sounds of their own physique, almost sensing as though they can perceive the blood circulating within our physique. Many people hear ringing in their ears because the ear is always under stress, so many have a slight background ringing. Almost everyone has it. Then there are those who have it. More importantly, there was a slightly lighter touch, and it could be a different, interesting experience.
Without a doubt, in such an environment, it will undoubtedly be more convenient for individuals to access certain things that they typically do not want to hear. So what we do not want to hear, we do not want to perceive, is always somewhat obscured from the outside world, making it less likely to reach our senses. When you enter into such an environment, incredible things can definitely emerge. It's a bit like when we are underwater and we hear distant sounds that can remind us of the maternal womb, even though the physical memory is not there. There is only an unconscious memory that lingers in our subconscious mind. Same thing there, everything that takes us away from our normal life, out of our common practice, always holds great surprises and brings about unexpected experiences for us.
Thank you, Melissa. The topics we have discussed, the things you have said are extremely interesting and important to me, unfortunately not talked about enough. We attempt to engage in a bit of culture. Thank you, and then we will see each other soon.
Thanks a ton to you. See you real soon.